Welcome back to the channel. You're joining me, Jason Pizzino, on another last chance to become a cryptocurrency millionaire Bitcoin market update. You know what to do before we dive into the video. Smash up the likes and subscribes. Otherwise, Elon Musk will be out to buy YouTube as well. Also, thank you to a sponsor of the channel, Bybit. Link is in the video description. Up to $4,100 of sign-up bonuses when you start depositing onto the exchange. And one last shout out, 4 days to go until our first live event on the Gold Coast with the legendary economist, Phil Anderson. It is going to be jam-packed full of info, critical stuff for the next 5 years. So hopefully you can join us there for our first live event on the Gold Coast. Link is in the top of the video description, just where you find everything else, that beautiful video description. Let's dive into today's video. Bitcoin buyers are back. What's going on in cryptocurrency over the next 24 hours? Let's dive in. The Fear and Greed Index is about to reset. We're at 23 for yesterday. Let's hit the refresh button and see what pops up for today after our flash crash and Elon Musk coming into the market. 27. So we've gone from extreme fear to fear. As I said earlier, we're looking at the news for Elon Musk, what's happened in the prices, what's going on in the stock markets after the hawkish Fed expectations dropped the market. We were looking at 38,500 on BTC yesterday, and overnight we have bounced back, looking to reclaim some of the bullish levels. But first, the headline of the last 24 hours. And to some, they are not going to like it, but Elon Musk, world's richest man, reaches deal to buy Twitter for $44 billion. You can see Twitter going a little bit crazy with the woke crowd suggesting that Elon Musk is going to make this a hate speech platform. But come on, guys. Tesla chief executive will gain control over social network. He has criticized over its handling of free speech. Taking a look at the price that he's paying for Twitter. And of course, this is affecting cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, we've seen have a turnaround. ETH, Dogecoin's had a nice little pump. The price he's buying Twitter for, $54.20. So this is the proposed price. And for the Aussies watching, I got you a nice Australian dollar price here of $61.4 billion for Twitter. For the US price, it's actually $44 billion. The sale was unanimously approved by Twitter. Twitter's 11 directors. Donald Trump reportedly says he will not return to Twitter. I think Elon Musk will probably win that battle between the platforms there. We'll wait and see what happens to the pricing of them all. I've got an alert here. Solana is looking weaker against Ethereum again. Surprise, surprise. Looking at Twitter's price. Purchase price $54.20. It's up on the news that Elon Musk is buying it, and it's getting there to go through. There is a big gap down below here, and we know that markets do not like gaps, regardless of which direction they're going in. This was a gap to the upside, and eventually, the market comes back and has to fill that gap. The market gapped down, pretty weak, but it had to come back, fill that gap. And so this is what happens in the stock market because it has closing times. So eventually, the news is put out in the after hours, the market gaps on news. So I think this may be one of those times where for Twitter, we just see this little pump up. If it doesn't reclaim this high price here of 54.57, so it needs to get above that, consolidate and grow, go higher, then I think this might be some of those last exhaust moves to get that price there, and then we'll come back and test this gap lower down. Just the market doing its thing. That's what happens time and time again. The news exuberates people's emotions and they get all excited, and then all of a sudden it fades out. We should be well aware of that being in cryptocurrency now. Same sort of deal here. S&P 500. This is obviously affecting what's going on in crypto, Bitcoin, and the rest of the cryptos there. Pity bounce is what we're looking for in yesterday's video. Yesterday, looking at, I'm preparing for a crypto crash, and I hear those handful of keyboard warriors at the other end. 1 day crash, 1 day buy. Look, we had Bitcoin hopium in the title yesterday as well, and the hopium was for a pity bounce, and pity bounces sometimes take a little bit of time. Sometimes they hang around, and you get, you might get 1 or 2 cracks at the pity bounce. Okay, so we're looking for the first signs of strength. Maybe this can become a little longer term relationship after that pity bounce. Above that 43.80. So I've got 43.80. This is for S&P, and the strength I predict, I forecast potentially will flow over into Bitcoin and the cryptos because of how correlated the NASDAQ is being tech sector to cryptos. And then, of course, the Nasdaq's pretty much correlated to the S&P as well, because it's the same stocks are in the top 500, except the tech sector gets hit harder during this second stage of the real estate cycle. If you're unaware of that, I'll leave some links at the end of this video to stuff on the real estate cycle, and also check us out on Friday where we'll go all through that beautiful investment information. Link is down below for those tickets. So the pity bounce, that's where I'm looking for this market here, for the S&P to climb its way back above 43.80 and then make our way to a longer term relationship above 44.66, probably around that 45 would be more ideal. I choose 45 because you can see here, just even if you're a beginner, you can see a nice little double top that formed right here. The double top, there's the trough, and then the market played out to that double top pattern. Bang, top, big extension to the downside. You need to have some sort of bounce after that to take profits. Let's see what happens after, I guess over the next few days. This trend line is also still in play, looking okay. Major low, that's the Russia invading Ukraine low. Market is still holding that, just getting slightly higher. So we've seen the extreme fear for now. On to Doge, it also had its little pump up to make it look more dramatic. Of course, you throw it down onto an hourly chart. This is what the Moon Boys with their Bybit links talk about. You look at the hourly chart to get people to trade. That's what they do to people. I'm not looking at that. You see my content enough, and you always hear me talk about protecting your capital and being safe in the markets, having a plan. But to make things exciting, let's take a look at the hourly chart for Dogecoin. You can see from the news, market pumps up. Market is now figuring out, do we continue up or do we stop here? I would say that in the case of Dogecoin, it needs to get above 18 cents here. So here's the high. Here's the rest of the highs. Here's another little high here. Come on. If this can't break above that level and find some support, some consolidation before it moves again, that's not going to spell too well. Now, I tend to rush through these sort of things because, we cover it quite a lot on the channel. But in terms of the psyche in the market at that time, it needs to have more momentum going for it if it is actually going to be a solid move to the upside. But if the market can only move up for several hours on the back of some massive news of Elon Musk buying Twitter, and we all know how connected Elon is to Dogecoin, and this is all the Dogecoin price can do, then you would have to expect that this is potentially just a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event, which is why I have here sell the rip. Is that what Dogecoin holders want to do? Because a lot of the Dogecoin holders are in extreme pain. Extreme pain. I don't say that lightly. It's come from 76 cents all the way down to about 10 or 11 cents. That's an 85% drop, and they're just getting a slight bit of recovery here. So any sort of relief is basically a pity bounce at this stage, unless it can break above some resistance levels. And I have 18 cents because it doesn't take a genius to see this on the chart. You can see a lot of the lows here. You can see some more lows. You can see where the market clearly broke down. I believe that was around December. That was that big December bar. It just dumped. It's across all crypto, right? And then it had the rejection before it went lower. The good news for the Dogecoin holders is that it looks like it's basing at the moment. A break of the lows, you're done. A break above, looking reasonably okay. Over to the pity bounce. This is what I was posting on Twitter last night. We had the drop. It was looking a little bit crazy for a few hours there. Extreme fear and not much price movement to the downside usually spell a pity bounce for crypto. Only the US Open in a few hours can make or break the market. And guess what? An hour and a half, 2 hours later, some of that news came out from Elon Musk, or the market started to pick up on that, and that's when the market started to move. By that stage, I was in bed. Here we are the next morning. Bitcoin 1 hour chart. We're back in the box, this time looking to get to the upper side of the box and reclaim at least 40,600. There are a couple of 50% levels I have here at $40,600. So you can see all the volume that's coming in at this point in time. Exactly as expected, yada, yada, what we talked about on yesterday's video, looking for at least that pity bounce to turn into a longer term relationship. So the 4 hour chart, to give us some ideas of what we're looking for, 40,600. That's the 50%. That's two 50% levels at this point. So it is looking like reasonable resistance. Ideally, we get above that and we start to work our way higher. All right. For the daily, looking at $43,500. That's the peak on the 21st of April. That is also a couple of these critical points on the way down. So that's the 50% level in here as well for $43,200. So I've got a little round number above that level. So these all just start to work together. We've seen the market bounce. Volume is okay here on Coinbase. Reasonably good over the last 2.5 weeks to show that there is some support coming in. And today is going to be critical to see whether we can actually get above that level, hold above, get some volume in, and then continue to work the next day and get that close higher. 43.5, that's on the daily. Let's have a look at the macro timeframes. Quick look at this again, $52,000. What's happening over the next 24 hours? Well, what we need to see is the market get above that level of, for Bitcoin, like I mentioned, 40,600. The trend is a massive thing here. It's become a little bit uncertain. We have an uptrend, back down, up, a higher low, and then a lower low because we had an outside bar in here. So it's technically slightly down, but it's quite uncertain in this period. It's just a lot of chopping and churning and chewing up new traders in this zone. But as for leverage traders want to see volatility. I know a lot of people think that it's all the leverage traders that are screwing the market. They don't care. They just want to make money off the volatility in the market. When the markets are quiet, then there's just not many trading opportunities. It doesn't matter whether the market goes up or down for leverage traders. They just want to see the market go up a lot and down a lot so that you can get some trading ranges that you can trade. So that's a pretty big misconception in cryptocurrency. I see it all the time in crypto Twitter and even other friend YouTubers talking about it as well. Traders don't care. They want to see volatility. And when volatility happens, provided you have a safe plan in play, then you're making money. The short side, the long side, whatever it may be. Okay, so the longer term here, still waiting on the 52,000. Longer term takes longer time. If it was that quick, then it would be on the shorter term time frame. But longer term, you can see these these highs back here, the 50% level at 51K, the previous top here at 52, 53K. This is going to be a beautiful day when Bitcoin can finally get above and hold those levels. As for ETH is slightly stronger than BTC again. It's reclaimed that 50% on the way down. But as for the hourly, we'll go step by step on the way up. $3,000 it has claimed. So we're there now on the hourly chart for the 4 hour, 3,060. That's just slightly above here because we throw it onto the hourly chart and just use our tool here back to these highs. And we can see 30,056. So a nice claim above that level is then going to put us in good step to get towards the next is being the daily. So 3,200. That's where we currently sit. We had a nice bounce yesterday as well. Good to see it back above the 50% level. Near is looking good. 2,900 was the level there. So we're back above that, 32. And then the weekly is at 36. And you can see that when we look back at these previous highs. So that was the top that came in late March. And we also had a bit of a peak there, sort of probably the first week of April, 35.81. Similar to Bitcoin, if we can get above that 36, that's going to be a good day for ETH to then consolidate and continue climbing above those levels. So like I said in the title, something around the, what's coming next in the next 24 hours, that's what we want to see next. And if we do get that up day, then that's going to be another positive to the bullish side to hope that that low was a significant low on the 25th of April, and we can start to climb away from that. Talking about the altcoins, is looking at preparing for another crash. The theory here is we had so many opportunities to sell out of some of these altcoins if we were stuck in those positions, and I know a lot of people get really hurt by not taking profit. So if we do see the market come up a little bit and get rejected at these levels, say one day here is the 3,200, as for Bitcoin, around that halfway point, it's probably around that 44, 45K and gets rejected again. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to I'm preparing for a crypto crash. If it doesn't happen, so be it. We just look to the bullish side and start to set our positions that way. But setting up for that crypto crash, look to the upside to see where that rejection comes in. If it's halfway, it's at these previous highs, then that might be another opportunity to dish off some of that portfolio so you don't feel so sick in the gut when it rejects you and it comes back down to test these lows. It's just a thought to protect those portfolios. So those are just ideas when it comes to what to do in the next 24 hours or pretty much over the next week, depending on where those resistance levels come in for primarily Bitcoin. Of course, we're also following Ethereum. People do get hurt and wrecked when it comes to selling, but then they also get hurt and wrecked when they don't sell out of their portfolios. Why didn't you tell me? Yada, yada. We hear those things all the time. And they are some of the strategies to get out of those positions when you see a market reversing, even though the news is good. The news is always going to be good at the tops because that's what everyone wants to hear. And you have to go against that grain at some point. Maybe you don't get the exact top. Maybe the market takes off further, but you just have to make sure you're making those decisions that are right for you, right for your portfolio, and you feel comfortable sleeping at night. Another way to sleep very easily at night is check out the link to Bybit in the video description. Up to $4,100 of sign-up bonuses when you use that link down below. Like and subscribe. Thank you for all of your support to you guys here during this crazy, volatile, bear market period of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Hopefully see you guys on Friday. Link is also in the description for that ticket. Until next time, peace out.